My child, I have been watching you closely in these last few months, observing the way you sit at the edge of your bed before your feet even touch the cold floor, feeling a weight that seems to have no origin, but presses down on your chest with the heaviness of an ancient stone. I have seen the silence that fills your kitchen while the coffee brews, the steam rising and disappearing just like your hopes seem to have done lately, and I know that in that quiet hum of the refrigerator, you have asked yourself if I have forgotten your name, or if I have simply looked away. You walk through the corridors of your daily routine, engaging in conversations that feel hollow, nodding your head while your mind is miles away, drifting in a sea of unanswered questions, feeling the texture of the steering wheel under your hands as you drive home, wondering why the destination feels so uncertain. I know the specific shade of gray that the sky seems to take on when you look out the window of your workplace or your living room. A gray that mirrors the fog inside your spirit, where you feel that your prayers are hitting a ceiling of brass and echoing back to you void of power. There is a specific exhaustion that sleep does not cure, the kind that settles in your bones when you are washing the dishes at night, staring blankly at the soapy water, replaying the disappointments of the last season, feeling the cool ceramic of the plates, and wondering if your life will ever regain its vibrant color. You have interpreted this silence as a punishment, as a sign that you have wandered too far from my grace, and you have searched your heart with a lantern, looking for hidden sins, looking for the reason why the heavens seem to have shut their gates against your cry. But I am here to tell you that what you have called abandonment, I call preparation. What you have experienced as the coldness of isolation is actually the necessary temperature of the winter soil, that hard ground that protects the seed before the spring can ever break through. I have watched you check your phone for messages that do not arrive, looking for a signal, a notification, something that tells you that the world is moving in your favor, only to be met with the quiet screen that reflects your own tired eyes back at you. You have carried a brave face for your family, for your friends, smiling when you wanted to weep, speaking words of encouragement to others while your own soul felt like a dry cistern. And I have collected every tear that you swallowed back in the throat, for none of them fell unnoticed by me. This season of silence was not designed to break you, though I know the cracking sound your heart has made in the deepest hours of the night. It was designed to deepen you, to expand the capacity of your spirit to hold what I am about to pour out. I know the sound of the clock ticking in the hallway when the house is still, counting away seconds that feel like wasted time to you. But in my economy, there is no wasted time, only time that is being repurposed for a foundation that must be stronger than anything you have built before. Today I am breaking the seal on this silence, not with a thunderclap that frightens, but with a steady voice that resonates in the center of your being, telling you that I was there in the kitchen, in the car, in the empty room, and in the winter soil of your waiting. I know the specific geography of your insomnia, the way the shadows lengthen across your bedroom ceiling when the street lights filter through the blinds, casting shapes that look like the obstacles you face during the day, looming large and insurmountable in the quiet of 3 a.m. You have turned your pillow over countless times, seeking a cool spot, seeking a resting place for a mind that races like a frantic engine, obsessing over details you cannot control, over words that were spoken years ago, over the uncertain trajectory of your future. I have felt the vibration of your anxiety, the way your heart rate spikes when you think about the bills stacking up on the counter, or the medical report, or the distance growing between you and someone you love. A distance that feels like a chasm no bridge can cross. You have looked at the mirror in the harsh light of the bathroom, tracing the lines of worry on your face, feeling that you have aged a decade in a single year, wondering if the spark you once had has been extinguished by the relentless winds of this long, dark winter. The winter soil feels dead to the observer. It is hard, it is unyielding, it rejects the shovel and seems to offer no hospitality to life, and that is exactly how your circumstances have felt to you, impenetrable, frozen, and devoid of any sign of new growth. But you must understand that the soil freezes not to kill the life within it, but to force the energy downward, away from the surface where the frost bites, down into the depths where the deep root can find water sources that surface rains cannot provide. I have allowed this frost in your circumstances because you were relying too much on the surface rain, on the easy praises of men, on the quick fixes that satisfy for a moment, but leave the soul parched when the heat of the day truly comes. You have sat in your car in the parking lot, delaying the moment you have to step out and face the world, gripping the keys until your knuckles turned white, breathing out a sigh that contained the weight of 1,000 unspoken prayers. I have seen you scrolling through the lives of others on that small glowing screen, seeing their highlight reels, their apparent victories, their seasons of harvest, and feeling a pang of envy that you immediately felt guilty for, asking, "Lord, when will it be my turn?" My child, comparison is the thief of the work I am doing in the winter soil. Their season is not your season, and the fruit I am growing in you requires a longer gestation, because it is meant to feed not just you, but generations after you. You have felt invisible, like a ghost in your own life, speaking words that seem to dissipate before they reach the ears of those around you, feeling that your contribution, your presence, and your pain are being overlooked by a world that rushes past. But in this invisibility, I have been knitting you together. I have been strengthening the fibers of your character, making you into a vessel that will not crack when the weight of glory is placed upon it. For the palm-deep root grows strongest when no eye can see its progress. Think of the times you have walked into a room full of people, the noise of laughter and conversation swirling around you. Yet you felt an invisible glass wall separating you from the joy of others, a solitude that feels loudest in a crowd. You have mastered the art of the deflection, answering, "I'm fine," with a practiced ease that fools everyone but me, while inside there is a landscape of ruins, a place where you are trying to rebuild hope with broken bricks and mortar that won't hold. I recall the moment you sat on the edge of the bathtub, the sound of the water dripping from the faucet, counting down the seconds, and you whispered, "I can't do this anymore," a confession that terrified you because you thought it meant your faith had failed. But that confession was not a failure of faith. It was the breaking of your self-reliance, the shattering of the illusion that you can carry the world on your shoulders. And it was the sound of the deep root, finally breaking through the hard shell of your pride. You have looked at your Bible, sitting on the nightstand, sometimes gathering dust because you didn't know where to open it, or because the words on the page felt like dry ink rather than living water, and you felt a deep shame for your lack of hunger. I saw you when you tried to force things to happen, sending emails that went unanswered, making calls that went to voicemail, trying to pry open doors that I had locked, only to bruise your hands and wound your spirit against the unyielding wood. The silence of the house when you return from work, the sound of the refrigerator humming, the way the light fades from the living room rug. These are not just atmospheric details. They have been the backdrop of my surgical work on your heart. You have felt the sting of betrayal, or perhaps the dull ache of drifting apart, realizing that the circle of people you trusted has shrunk, leaving you exposed to the elements, feeling like a tree stripped of its leaves in the middle of the coldest month. This stripping away was painful, I know. I felt every flinch of your spirit as people walked away, as opportunities dried up, as the comforts you used to lean on were removed one by one, until you were left standing on nothing but the winter soil. But look closely at what remains. What is left when everything shaken is removed? What is left is the core of who you are in me, the unshakable truth that cannot be taken away by a job loss, a breakup, or a bank account that dwindles. You have been mourning the leaves that fell, crying over the loss of the green canopy that provided you shade, not realizing that I stripped the branches so that the wind would not topple you in the storm that is passing over the earth. The silence you hear now is not the silence of the graveyard. It is the silence of the cathedral before the choir begins, the holy hush that descends before the king enters the room to take his rightful place on the throne of your life. Now let us speak of the diagnosis, of the reason for this season that has felt like a suspension of your life. For I do not afflict my children willingly, nor do I enjoy the sight of your confusion as you navigate the fog. You have asked for clarity. You have begged for a roadmap, for a signpost, for anything that would tell you go left or go right. But I've given you stillness instead, because you were running in a direction that led to a cliff you could not see. The deep root cannot grow if the tree is constantly being transplanted, moved from pot to pot, seeking better light or better views. The tree must remain in the more winter soil, enduring the cold to anchor itself into the bedrock. I prepared you in silence because your voice was becoming an echo of the world's noise, repeating their fears, their ambitions, and their definitions of success. And I needed you to relearn the language of heaven, which is spoken in whispers. You felt that your prayers were bouncing off the ceiling, but in truth, I was catching them and holding them, delaying the answer, because the answer you wanted was too small for the destiny I have prepared. If I had given you what you asked for when you asked for it, the weight of the blessing would have crushed your undeveloped character, and the deep root would have snapped under the pressure of a harvest you were not ready to carry. The anxiety you feel, the tightness in your chest when you think about the future, is the friction of your will rubbing against mine. The heat generated when you try to steer a ship that I have already taken command of. I have allowed the external voices to dim. I have allowed the applause to fade. I have allowed the phone to stop ringing so that you would be forced to confront the one voice you have been avoiding. The voice of my spirit testifying to your spirit that you are mine. You thought you were being buried, that your potential was rotting in the ground, that your talents were rusting from disuse. But I was coating you in the preservative of humility, ensuring that when you rise, you will not fall. The winter soil is not a tomb, it is a womb. It is the place where the DNA of your future is being rewritten, where the patterns of your ancestors, the addiction, the anger, the fear, the divorce, are being broken by the frost of my holiness. I have been dealing with the roots of rejection that go back to your childhood, the weeds of insecurity that choked your joy, and this work could only be done in the dark, away from the prying eyes of those who only want to consume your fruit. Understand this, the silence was my protection. I hid you in the cleft of the rock. I covered you with my hand, not to suppress you, but to shield you from a spiritual wind that would have blown out your candle had you been exposed too soon. In this quiet place, I have been teaching you the difference between activity and productivity, between movement and progress. For you have spent years running on a treadmill, exhausting yourself to stay in the same place. You remember the days when your calendar was full, when the notifications never stopped, when you felt important because you were busy. I had to strip that away because you were deriving your identity from your usefulness rather than your sonship. The deep root does not strive. It does not panic. It simply abides, drawing nutrients from the soil, trusting the cycle of the seasons, knowing that the sun will return even when the ground is covered in snow. I have seen you staring at the empty chair in your living room, feeling the pang of loneliness. But I allowed that space so that I could sit there, so that you would learn to find your sufficiency in my presence, not in the validation of another. You have tried to fill the silence with podcasts, with music, with television, anything to drown out the quiet. But I have persistently turned down the volume of the world until you had no choice but to hear the beating of your own heart. This preparation has been rigorous because the assignment is dangerous. I am sending you into places where you will need a discernment that cuts through deception like a knife, and that discernment is forged only in silence. You have felt the frustration of almost, the job that was almost yours, The relationship that almost worked, the breakthrough that almost happened, and you blamed the devil. But it was I who closed the gate. I closed it because it was a gate to a lesser garden, a place where you would have settled for comfort instead of calling, where you would have grown shallow roots in soft soil that would not have held you in the day of trouble. The winter soil is hard, yes, but it is rich with minerals that soft soil does not possess. The suffering, the waiting, the misunderstanding. These are the minerals that are feeding your deep root right now. You have looked at your hands and seen them empty, and you have wept, but I see hands that are finally free of the junk you were holding, hands that are now open and ready to receive the true treasure I have been saving for this moment. Do not despise the isolation. Do not curse the quiet days. Do not look at the gray sky with resentment. For in this very atmosphere, I am expanding your lungs to breathe the air of the high places where I am about to take you. I have been teaching you to stand when no one is watching, to pray when no one is listening, to believe when no one is agreeing, so that when the spotlight comes, you will not be swayed by the crowd. For your roots will be wrapped around the rock of ages. Now receive the first wave of my comfort, which is not a promise that the sky will instantly turn blue, but the assurance that I am holding you in the gray, that my hand is under your chin, lifting your face to look at mine. I promise you a peace that does not make sense to your logical mind, a peace that settles over you like a warm blanket in a cold room, calming the tremors of your anxiety, even while the bills are still on the counter. You will stop waking up with that jolt of fear in your stomach. You will lay your head down on the pillow and feel the heavy, sweet descent of sleep, knowing that the watchman of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps, so you can rest. The confusion that has clouded your mind like a thick fog is beginning to lift, not all at once, but like the dawn breaking over the horizon. First a lightening of the dark, then the outlines of the mountains, then the full sun. I am giving you the gift of clarity, not the whole picture, but enough light for the next step, enough direction to know which key to turn, which email to write, and which door to walk away from without looking back. The deep root has done its work. You are anchored now. You are not the same person who entered this winter. You are heavier in spirit, more substantial, less easily triggered by the petty winds of circumstance. I am healing the internal noise, the chaotic chatter of what if and if only, replacing it with a steady, rhythmic trust that says, I know in whom I have believed. You will begin to notice a shift in the atmosphere of your home. The air will feel lighter, the tension will dissipate, and even the inanimate objects, the table, the chairs, the walls, will seem to resonate with a new peace. This is the peace that I give, not as the world gives, dependent on the stock market or the news cycle, but a peace that springs from the deep root, drawing from a river that flows underground, unaffected by the drought on the surface. I am soothing the raw edges of your emotions, applying the balm of Gilead to the wounds of rejection, telling you that you are chosen, you are seen, you are known, and you are loved with an everlasting love. The panic attacks are retreating. The overwhelming dread is receding like the tide going out, leaving behind a shore that is clean, washed, and ready for new footprints. Rest now, my child, not in the absence of trouble, but in the presence of the Savior. Let the winter soil hold you, knowing that the thaw is coming, and the life that is in you is indestructible because it is born of God. As the season begins to turn, you will feel a subtle shift in the wind, a change in the temperature that only those who have been waiting in the winter soil can perceive. The heavy coat of silence is being unbuttoned, the days of walking blindly are coming to an end, and the first green shoots of the deep root are preparing to breach the surface of your life. You have been faithful in the dark. You have trusted when you could not trace. You have remained when you wanted to run. And now the time of revelation is approaching. I am about to show you why the delay was necessary, why the no was a mercy, and why the silence was the most eloquent speech I could have given you to prepare your heart. If this message touches your soul and you want to walk this path of revelation with us, subscribe now to join our journey. The transition will not be chaotic. It will be like the opening of a flower, inevitable and gentle, powered by the life force that has been gathering pressure inside you all this time. You will start to see the connections between the random events of the past year, how one disappointment protected you from a disaster, how one closed door steered you toward a hallway of blessing. The things that used to trigger you will no longer have power. The words that used to wound you will fall harmlessly to the ground. This is the evidence of your growth. Prepare your house, prepare your mind, prepare your conversation. Begin to speak as one who is expecting the spring, not as one who is resigned to an eternal winter. The winter soil is softening. The water is beginning to flow. The sap is rising in the tree of your life, carrying nutrients to branches that have looked dead for too long. I am moving the pieces on the chessboard of your life, aligning circumstances, touching hearts, and opening pathways that no man can shut. Stand still and watch the salvation of the Lord. The silence is breaking, and the first sound you will hear is the sound of shackles falling to the ground. You are stronger than you think, more resilient than you know, and the deep root that has grown in this season of darkness is now capable of holding up a structure that will shelter many. I have hardened you against the criticism of man. I have made your forehead like flint, so that you can face the challenges ahead without crumbling under the weight of their opinions. The tears you sowed in the winter soil have watered a harvest of joy that is about to spring up. A joy that is not giddy or fleeting, but deep, resonant, and strong as a fortress. You will look back at this time of silence, not with regret, but with gratitude, realizing that it was in the quiet that you found your true voice, the one that speaks with my authority. I have removed the fear of missing out from your heart. You no longer crave the crowded table of the world because you have tasted the hidden manna in the wilderness with me. Your capacity to handle responsibility has been expanded. Where you once would have collapsed under stress, you will now stand with a calm assurance, knowing that the battle is the Lord's. The roots of your faith have wrapped around the bedrock of my word. Let the winds blow, let the storms come. You will not be moved, for you are no longer planted in the shallow soil of feelings. I am restoring the years that the locusts have eaten, not by rewinding the clock, but by accelerating the harvest, causing the plowman to overtake the reaper in your life. You have learned the secret of contentment in the winter soil. And because you can be content with little, I can now trust you with much. Because you were faithful in the silence, I can trust you with the platform. The weakness you felt was actually the breaking of your self-will. Now that you are weak in yourself, you are strong in me, a conduit for power that flows without obstruction. I am dressing you in new garments, taking off the spirit of heaviness and putting on the garment of praise. But this praise is not a performance. It is a weapon forged in the fire of your suffering. Walk with your head high, not in arrogance, but in the dignity of a child of the King who has survived the winter and is now stepping into the inheritance of the spring. Today, I reveal what was hidden. I was hiding you. I was keeping you a secret, tucked away in the quiver like a polished arrow, waiting for the precise moment to launch you toward the target. If I had released you sooner, you would have fallen short. You lacked the weight, the balance, the aerodynamic shape that comes only from the friction of the winter soil. The talent you thought was wasted has been fermenting like fine wine. The dreams you thought were dead were merely dormant, gathering the energy required to burst forth with unstoppable life. I am revealing a new level of discernment in you. You will look at situations and see the spiritual reality behind the physical facade, knowing instantly what is of me and what is a counterfeit. The confusion about your purpose is evaporating. You will wake up with a clear mind, knowing exactly what your hands are supposed to do, driven by a passion that has been purified of ambition. I am revealing the why behind the wait. You will see that while you were waiting for a door to open, I was building the room on the other side so it would be ready for you. The relationships that left your life were making room for the divine connections I am bringing now. People who recognize the deep root in you and will water it, not cut it down. What was hidden was your true identity. You were defining yourself by your job, your status, your relationships, but the silence stripped all that away until only child of God remained. Now that you know who you are in the dark, you are safe to be seen in the light. Success will not seduce you, and failure will not define you. I am returning your creativity, your drive, your ability to dream, but they are coming back sanctified, washed in the waters of humility, ready to be used for my glory and not your ego. You will see the puzzle pieces snapping together with a speed that will amaze you. The delays of the past will seem like a distant memory as my acceleration takes hold of your life. The winter soil has done its job. The shell is broken, the root is deep, the shoot is rising. Behold, I am doing a new thing, and now it springs forth. Can you not perceive it? So, my child, step out of the shadows of regret and shake off the dust of the waiting room. The door is unlocking, the handle is turning, and the light is pouring in. Do not carry the mindset of the victim into the season of the victor. Leave the sackcloth of the winter behind and put on the armor of light, for the day has dawned. I promise you, my presence will go with you. The same God who sustained you in the silence will amplify you in the sound. The same Spirit who comforted you in the winter soil will empower you in the harvest. You will walk into rooms and the atmosphere will change because you carry the weight of glory that comes from time spent in the secret place. Men will wonder at your peace, not knowing the price you paid for it. Go forward with the quiet confidence of the deep root. You do not need to shout to be heard. Your life will speak, your fruit will testify, and your endurance will be a sign to many. I am blessing the work of your hands. I am establishing your goings. I am making your crooked paths straight and the rough places smooth. Fear not the future, for you have survived the worst of the cold. You have been tested and found faithful. You have been pruned and found fruitful. The silence is over, but the lesson remains. I am the God who works in the dark, the God who speaks in the whisper, the God who prepares in the winter soil to reveal in the spring. Receive my peace, receive my strength, receive my direction. The waiting is done, the preparation is complete. Walk now in the light of my countenance, for you are loved, you are kept, and you are ready. I am with you, from the depth of the root to the height of the fruit, now and forever. Amen.